Here's a piece of history rarely talked about. Israeli spy visited plant where uranium vanished. Raphael Etienne, the Israeli named recently as part of an espionage ring in the United States, traveled in 1968 to a nuclear plant in Apollo, Pennsylvania, where large amounts of weapons-grade uranium disappeared, was allegedly diverted to Israel, according to documents released yesterday. Mr. Etienne, a former chief of operations for the Mossad, the Israeli intelligence agency, was one of 4 Israelis who received U.S. clearance to meet with officials at the NUMEC nuclear plant in Apollo, Pennsylvania, on September 10, 1968, according to information in declassified U.S. or FBI documents. 2 reports on that meeting, included in thousands of pages of documents released recently under the Freedom of Information Act, listed Mr. Etienne as a chemist with the Ministry of Defense in Israel. Anthony Kordsman, a former Pentagon official, now a professor at Georgetown University and a director of Arlington, Virginia's defense think tank, said Mr. Etienne's participation in the 1968 meeting was extremely hard evidence that he was operating with Israeli intelligence in the United States. At the time, Mr. Etienne was a member of a select Israeli intelligence unit, traditionally associated with Ariel Sharon, a leader in the hardline Israeli Likud party, that actively sought information about U.S. defense capabilities, Mr. Kordsman said. There is no conceivable reason for Mr. Etienne to have gone to the Apollo plant but for nuclear material. Mr. Etienne is a celebrated Israeli intelligence agent who is a member of the team that snatched Nazi war criminal Adolf Eichmann off of Buenos Aires Street in 1960. U.S. prosecutors earlier this month said Mr. Etienne directed the Israeli operation that recruited Navy analyst Jonathan Pollard, who pleaded guilty to selling secret American documents to Israel. Pollard's wife, Ann Henderson Pollard, also pleaded guilty to lesser charges in the espionage ring, which dated from at least June 1984. An FBI spokesperson said the investigation was closed but could not comment because the Pollard case is still pending. Justice Department of spokespersons also declined immediate comment. Since the Pollard episode began with Pollard's arrest last November, straining U.S.-Israeli relations, Mr. Etienne has been given the post of chairman of a government-owned chemical conglomerate. His participation in the so-called espionage ring, as well as that of Aviam Sela, an Israeli Air Force brigadier general identified as Pollard's first handler, the ring was a renegade operation, as Israel claimed, and whether that government has cooperated fully in the U.S. investigation. The small Apollo processing plant was the subject of a decades-long U.S. investigation into suspected diversion of hundreds of pounds of enriched uranium to Israel. Codenamed Divert, the probe was first launched in 1966 when the government found that 206 pounds of enriched uranium had vanished from the plant without a trace. The documents show that the FBI, the CIA, and the Atomic Energy Commission, which has since been de-established, spent 13 years trying to discover what happened to the uranium, investigating allegations it was somehow passed to Israel by Zalman Shapiro, a Jewish scientist who headed the Nuclear Materials and Equipment Corps. Later inquiries also examined whether U.S. officials may have known about the diversion and let it happen. While Mr. Shapiro headed the nuclear plant in Pennsylvania, 267 kilograms, or 587 pounds of uranium turned up missing. Mr. Kordsman said there is no question that material leaked from the UMEC plant was used in the original Israeli nuclear weapons. By some well-regarded intelligence estimates, Israel is said to have at least 100 nuclear weapons. Israel has had 2 nuclear plants, both heavily guarded secret installations. The biggest is near Dimona in the northern part of the arid Negev and was built in 1957 by France. The second is a small experimental station at Nahal Sorek on the Mediterranean coast.